James Gallo, joined by Moose Jaw Warriors head coach Mike Stuthers for another edition of Yara Sittin' with Stutts. And Mike, your team coming off a successful weekend where you get 3 of a possible 4 points. So you do have the overtime loss to the Swift Current Broncos, but overall, with the way your guys played, you have to be proud with the outcome.
Well, James, I thought it was a great weekend for us. It would have been nice to get 2 victories, obviously, but getting 3 out of 4 from what we've dealt with in the past with some games that I thought we played very well and didn't have anything to show for it. 3 out of 4 is not a bad weekend for us, and I liked the way we played. I thought we had some good starts. Obviously, we got some goals in the first periods in both games. You can look at it and say, well, the other teams mounted a little bit of a comeback in the remaining periods, but I don't look at it so much as that, as just the fact that we competed hard, we played good teams well, we managed the puck better. We still had some turnovers, but I think we eliminated some real dangerous ones. And I think we got some contributions from everybody. So all in all, I thought it was a great weekend for the guys.
I guess your final thoughts on 15-year-old Brett Howden. We had talked about him last week in Sittin' with Stutts. He is now done in terms of playing with the Warriors until his midget AAA season with the Eastmen Selects in Manitoba is complete. He went 5 games, had the 1 goal. Your final thoughts on Brett in terms of what you saw in the last week and a half?
Well, it's a shame, actually, that he has to go back. I mean, I thought he played extremely well for us. That's not to say that, he could have sustained that level for a great length of time, but I would have liked to have seen him stick around a little bit longer because he was playing so well. He's a bigger body even at such a young age. His playmaking, his hockey sense is exceptional for his age. I thought he looked very good with Pointer and Fioretti. He certainly didn't look out of place. It's surprising that he only had the 1 goal. If you looked at the games and the amount of chances that he had or he created for his line mates, you would have thought he had maybe half a dozen, in all honesty. And I think that's the biggest thing that, you notice. You get kids all the time that they want the opportunity, they want the ice time. When you do get that opportunity, when you do get the ice time, you've got to make something happen, and I think Brett really did. So it's a tribute to him. He'll go back and he'll finish out the year with his club and his age group, which is the wise thing to do. And obviously league rules don't let you allow you to do anything otherwise. But things look good for the future for Brett. I think it's a good pick. And I think it's probably a bold statement by me, but I think he's going to be a more complete player than his brother.
On a side note, his brother was texting me during the last game and very excited for his brother's success and his time with the Warriors. Lastly, Mike, this is another full week of practice for your team getting ready for games against the Brandon Wheat Kings and the Regina Pats. Just as we had talked last week, it's important to get a lot of practice time with such a young team for the Warriors. But what are the focal points going into this weekend against those 2 East Division teams that the Warriors are trying to chase in the Eastern Conference standings?
Well, you know what? Last week we went over, I think, every situation, James, and in all zones, and we slowed practice right now. We walked through some things. We moved guys around, physically moved them to where they needed to be to understand what we were trying to do, and again in all 3 zones. And I think yesterday we had a great start to the week. I think we'll continue to do that. We know that we played very well against 2 top opponents this past weekend, and we know we've got a huge challenge this weekend coming up with Brandon and Regina. And you're right, we've got to win our games against those 2 teams. We've spotted them enough points. If we're going to make a serious challenge here of climbing up the standings and making ourselves a team that's worthy of the playoffs, we have to get some points against those teams. So our focus will be more so of what we have to do as opposed to what to expect from the opposition. And we feel that if we can look after our end, look after our neutral zone, and then apply some things here in the offensive zone, we have a good chance of having some success.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate the time.
Thanks, James.
This is another edition of Yara Sittin' with Stutts. The Moose Jaw Warriors back in action Friday here at home against the Brandon Wheat Kings. They'll be on the road Saturday to take on the Regina Pats. For more on your Moose Jaw Warriors, go online, mjwarriors.com.